What better example for localization than water, right? Water resources are typically local, and localization means regional water management, and bioregionalism means integrated regional water management. And what better place to start than California, which is mostly water stressed, with regional specific water problems. So localization requires doing region specific action plans. So California's water plan, based on key initiatives like integrated regional water management, statewide water management. So there are two scales involved in there, without considering the virtual trade and so on. So these are argued to be vital economy, healthy environment, high standard of living requirements for in terms of water, serving these purposes. Implement integrated regional water management, that was the plan. Improve statewide water management systems, and use water efficiency, protect water quality, support environmental stewardship. So we will look at one particular local rooted example, rooted community example, rooted university example, plus also look at this localization of projections. So this is looking at scenario demand changes by region within California. This state is amazing, progressive on its climate action plans on all fronts. So North Coast, you can see these are current trends, less resource intensive scenarios and more resource intensive scenarios. So you can see North Coast is doing okay, generally more rainy region up here, as well as the Sacramento River, even though the more resource intensive scenario is not so great here in terms of million acre feet of water being projected to be used. San Francisco Bay, San Joaquin River, Central Coast, and you can see here the Tulare Lake and South Lohanton, Colorado River Basin down here, and the South Coast have, so Tahoe Lake, Tulare Lake obviously has benefits in terms of projected changes. So you will save a lot of water if you're in the current trend, and less resource intensive projections decrease the positive budget, and more resource intensive will reduce the excess water supply. But you can see that the south is pretty bad. Even for less resource intensive, it's got a negative here, which includes some assumptions obviously by 2030. But the idea is these kind of region specific plans, even within a state water management plan, is very critical. The other example of localization is the C40 cities that are working together on their climate action plans. We have seen this before from the c40.org website. It has I think this is already old. These numbers keep changing. 97 C40 member cities, 700 plus million citizens, 1/4 of the global economy. And then there are various other things that the cities are planning. So they have, for example, 82 of the C40 cities have implemented cycle hire schemes compared to 21 in 2020. 97% of the C40 cities report already feeling the effects of climate change, and nearly all are at risk. Okay, and there are more than 66,000 electric buses on streets in the C40 cities compared to fewer than 100 in 2010. So obviously using this kind of coordination and following, like the California effect that we talked about, is going to motivate everybody to do more and learn from the others, right? Because there are common problems and common solutions, transferable solutions. Okay. So C40 has climate action plan objectives and strategies. Develop pathway to deliver emission neutral city by 2050. Demonstrate how the city will adapt and improve its resilience to climate hazards. Cities face specific climate hazards, especially urban island effects, so heat waves and extreme flash floods because of extreme events. Detail the wider social, environmental, and economic benefits expected from implementing the plan, and improve the equitable distribution of these benefits to the city's population. So there is that ethical consideration as well. Outline city's governance, powers, and partners who need to be engaged in order to accelerate the delivery of the city's mitigation targets and resilience goals. The city will do this by considering adaptation and mitigation in an integrated way, identifying interdependencies to maximize efficiencies and minimize investment risk, setting an evidence-based, inclusive, and deliverable plan for achieving transformational mitigation and adaptation, centered on an understanding of the city's powers and wider context. Hopefully the wider context also relies on dependence on outside but local rural connections. Establishing a transparent process to monitor delivery, communicate progress, and update climate action planning in line with governance and reporting systems. So that's kind of a good example of integrated water management going into local action plans by the C40 cities. We will look at another example of watershed level bioregionalism and localization for San Diego. Localization also means that oftentimes there is no blueprint for all localizations, right? It depends on the bioregion, whether it's a mountain system, coastal system, agricultural bioregion, forest, what kind of per capita income there is, what is the cultural value when it comes to the environment or a water body, or what are the trades between the bioregion and the external community and the wild and the world, and so on and so forth. So that means each time you want to do localization, you have to go and study the region and develop a place-based solution. It cannot be something you go with and say, do this, this, and this. You have to evolve that locally. That's labor intensive, time consuming, resource intensive, and it takes a lot of trust building to get the engagement of the communities as well.